Property Tax Services and Environmental Concerns meeting to order. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting from somebody on the committee, hopefully. Claudia?
Yes.
Second, Matt. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Don't anybody vote against it? Okay. Okay. Alexi, you want to give us a little rundown where we are here?
Sure. Good morning, everybody. I do see a couple faces over there that I'm unprepared for. So, no, I'm just letting you know I didn't know they were showing. So,
Okay.
I have no information on them. But the ones that you do have in your packet are for Rebecca Baruti. She has two pieces. They're both in the town of Chester. 49.1-2.1 and 49.1-3.2. Rebecca would like to talk to you guys. Rebecca,
Great.
Hi.
Hi.
Story of my life. Since my dad passed, we've had a lot of hardships, split with my husband, and a lot of expenses, taking care of his, our bills from our marriage. We've been split 9 years, so I have no other income. Tried to get a few different jobs. Hard to get a job at 54 in the business that I'm familiar with. So, unfortunately, you know, we've been doing this so long, and with compassion that my dad had, he always worked with our renters. I've got several renters, but they're pretty much all behind. I did supply the rent receipts. I don't know if you have them in front of you, to show that we're working. I had one come in last night. He's $1,700 behind. He came in with $300. I've got another one that's about $2,700 behind, something like that, maybe a little more. They're coming in with a couple hundred here and there. I said I can serve you with a 3-day notice so you can go get some, you know, maybe some public assistance or go to the charities and get some help. And he's like, well, if you do that, we're going to leave. I'm like, you know, I'm just trying to help. It doesn't look good for me to go into a courtroom to try to get a judgment and not have served a notice before they get this far behind. But the problem is they've been with us 15 years, and they always, you know, get 6 months behind, and then they'll get their income tax or whatever, or get help from social services, and they come in with a lump sum. My son has just gone off to college. I'm living in this great big house all alone and have no other assistance as far as coming in. The land has been in our family over 100 years, and I'm trying really hard to sell a couple pieces of property. We are in contract for Bird Pond Road. It's a VA loan. I'm just waiting for the appraisal to come in, and I'm just asking that you have a copy of that. It's a contract, the purchase offer is signed. I'd like just to have enough time for the closing, and then I could pay the entire everything off for all our properties at once, which I think comes to $37,000.
Okay.
So if I could have time for the property to close, that would be a blessing. I'm asking for your...
she's only in for 2 pieces this year, so the 2 pieces don't total that, but all of her other outstanding taxes plus those 2 pieces do total $37,026.48 for the month of August.
And I did pay $37,000 last year in taxes. We sold a lot, and I put the majority of that lot sale towards the taxes. Seems like I'm just living to pay taxes. You know, eventually I will try to sell off part pieces. You know, I have to break it up, the 47 acres, and sell off pieces. It's just, I've been foolishly attached to the land because it's been in our family so long, but I want to break it up into maybe 3 or 4 pieces and try to sell lots. I've got one 3.58 acre lot that's been for sale. Foolishly, I bought that back from my cousin, who it was given to by my dad to protect our boarding kennel. And then my husband and I split due to a sour marriage, and I put that up for sale, and it hasn't moved. But property is moving. It's just slow, and there's so many parcels out there, as you know, that are, everybody's struggling. Taxes are high. Even without a mortgage, it's hard to meet the, you know, it's like payments.
Right. Well, it's difficult once you get behind.
Well,
No
it's
question
difficult,
about it.
even if it's not, I mean, it's like with the rentals, I don't charge a lot of rent because we're not in a, you know, we're in an economically depressed area.
Right.
So you can't charge more than $650 for a 3-bedroom apartment. And unfortunately, we've got single parents with kids that are struggling. You know, I've got a girl right now. She's got 2 little kids, and she's $200 behind in last month, and I was this month, and just came in with $100 on Friday. I said, listen, my bills aren't getting paid. I'm getting late fees, and I don't charge them late fees. But if you start doing that, then they bolt on you, and then you've got to go in and you got to clean the apartment, you got to paint. It's just all, and I'm by myself, so I've got this work, manually labor work myself. If I get somebody to help me, it's, you know, who's going to work for less than $10-12 an hour? It's just,
Okay.
I feel like
Peter,
I'm
did you have a
thinking-
question?
First of all, thank you for attending this morning, Ms. Berardi. I would
Thank
make a
you.
motion to do whatever we think is appropriate in terms of the terms and conditions.
We do have a copy of the contract for sale, and it's supposed to happen in the month of September.
September 21st.
Yeah. Is that what the
We were
contract
looking-
says, the purchase?
So we were,
God willing.
I
My
did talk to,
recommendation.
oh, I'm sorry. I did talk to the attorney that's involved in it, and they feel confident that it will go through,
Okay.
but,
Right.
Sometimes closings take a little longer due to attorneys out of town. Like, I think their attorney is Goody Goodspeed, Sterling Goodspeed, and he was on vacation or something. So, I mean, just little miscellaneous things here and there will
Mhm.
set back dates, but, you know, it does look good. The purchase, you know, we
Great.
did negotiate and come to terms. I accepted the offer. They're
Okay.
willing to do the repairs. I'm just asking for giving me the chance to let the property close before, you know, you close on me.
Claudia, you want to second
I have a
that?
couple questions. Yep.
Well, let's go to second first. Second, John? Okay. Go ahead, Claudia.
Well, I guess that adds to my list. What is the motion then, to give her till when?
To the closing of the...
She has a tentative date of the 21st, so let's do the end of September.
Thank you so
That'll give her another 10 days.
much. Coming up with...
Can
Yep.
we go a little further, you know, and still
Yours.
make it
Let
appropriate?
me just explain, if she's going to give this or if the committee's going to give the extension till the end of September, what's going to happen is the properties still are going to stay in the petition that's going to go to the court. So what'll happen is, whatever extension you give to her, if she doesn't pay by that date, the property's still in, we're still going to foreclose on it, and then we would sell it if she does not pay. If she pays by the end of September, because if that's the date you give her, then what they'll do is, Amy can explain, because I discussed it with Mary, and then she discussed it with Mary, so.
The property will stay in the petition, and then if she complies and pays, then we'll just do a stipulation of discontinuance as to that property.
So it is possible.
Yeah, I'll pay everything, all of them, at once, you know.
Okay.
My goal isn't to not pay my taxes, and
Yep.
I know you guys say you're not in the real estate business, but I'm like, if I get the extension, you don't have to deal with my...
Well, I actually am, but... So, Peter, your motion is to give her till
To the end of September.
end of September. John, you good with that? Claudia?
Okay, yes. My question is, these two that are in the sale right now, are either of these your homes, or are they?
They're not in the sale. Those properties are not in the sale.
No, I'm
Oh,
in
in the
foreclosure, yeah.
No, it's, my home sits in front of the 47.5 acres.
Okay.
And that's something that's been in my family for over 100 years. My Uncle Abe used to farm that land when I was a little girl. We used to go and pick the potatoes and the peas and the beans, and just, you know, our family cemetery is across the street from that lot. And the 49 acres also, I mean, it was all one parcel when my grandfather came over from another country and pretty much was a peddler, you know, with trinkets on his way up from Ellis Island, and found a place that he liked and went back over to the other country and got cousins. They came back over here and bought 500 acres for $500 back then. And then it was distributed between 3 of the family members. And unfortunately, I've had the burden since my dad passed away. He said, T, don't hang on to vacant land. And unfortunately, you know, I've just got to let it go. I just don't want it to go to foreclosure. I'd like to be able to sell it and get a little money, so maybe I could put up a small home that's more practical for myself and my 2 dogs, that's not so expensive. The house I'm in is huge and uninsulated with 2 wood stoves, and I'm carrying wood in by myself, and, you know, for the winter it's a struggle. I'm just trying to get it insulated little by little. It's a juggling act.
So neither of these pieces are the property that she is. resides on.
Right, and they're not the ones that she's trying to sell, but
No.
it looks like, you've already passed the inspection date for that sale. Did that go okay?
I haven't heard from it. They were supposed to turn the inspection in by the end of this past week, but my realtor has not gotten a hold of me yet.
Okay, so hopefully it's just waiting on the mortgage contingency.
Right, I believe the VA loan should be a no-brainer. They're willing to do the repairs because it's a fixer-upper at this point. The house was built in '91, and it does need work. Unfortunately, I've got more out in loans than, like, in the cost of the house than what I'll be pulling back out of it, a lot more. I'm losing probably $200,000 on the house just by getting, even with the sale price. So.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Andrea, I know you came in a little late. Are you comfortable with this? You up to speed? Any questions? Okay.
Andrea says yes, right? Oh, geez.
Good voters here. Okay. We have a motion on the floor. If there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Thank you
And-
so much.
Oh, thank you for your effort.
Thank you,
We
Lexi,
appreciate
for
it.
your time and thank you for your
Please stay in touch
compassion.
with me and let me know how
I
the
definitely will.
inspection went and where we're at, okay?
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Great. Good luck, Rebecca.
Have a great day.
Anything
Okay.
else?
Like I said, I'm seeing two faces that I don't know, so I'm assuming you're here because you want to talk to somebody about your property. Are you together? Okay, you can come up and let us know who you are and where your property is.
Hi, I'm Jill Annable, and my property is 12 Annable Drive. I'm jumping into this. I didn't know there was a sign up, so I'm sorry. This is my grandfather's property, and my father is the executor of it, and he walked away from everything, leaving me and my son in this house. So I wanted to know if there's anything I can do to either get it signed over to me or go from there, or if I'm pretty much out of options at this point.
If I can explain this.
12 Annable Drive,
You-
Queensbury.
Queensbury.
Give it a whirl.
Let me just explain the situation. Last year, there was 3 pieces of property that went into foreclosure, one of them being this one. And I believe this one got left out of the petition when it went to the court
Yep. I got that.
and mistakenly left out. So this one didn't get foreclosed on. However, they were in an installment agreement, all 3 of these pieces of property. So 2 of them went to foreclosure and were sold, and this one was not sold because it didn't go, but there's been no payments made on the installment agreement either. So you've been living there for the last year, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Not reaching out to us or anything?
I didn't know what was going on. It's all
Are
my
you the
father.
one that
I was,
spoke to last year on the phone?
I believe so.
Okay.
My father hasn't been very good about communicating with all of us about what was going on, and then I was like, well, then he took off. He took off and just left everything, and I've kind of just been like waiting to see what was going to happen, and I was going to walk away, but I really don't want to. My son goes to Queensbury, and we've been living there. I just don't. It's my grandfather's property. I don't know if I have any options to take over.
At this point, there is no title into you. So I think they did an installment agreement with your dad. I don't know if he came in with proof of documentation, but you're not entitled to the property. You don't actually own the property. So I don't know how we could actually make that work.
Is there a way to
because-
have my father sign it over?
But I don't think there was ever a deed put into your father either. They're still all in your grandfather's name. Your dad went into an installment agreement, I think, because he proved that he was an heir. But I don't think there was ever a deed into your father either. So I don't know what your grandfather's estate, was there an estate? Did it go to probate? I don't know any of that. So at this point, I can't determine whether you can actually go into anything or do anything with it. I think that becomes a legal issue. I don't know if Amy has any answers for any of that. But I think we'd have to first, I guess, start with surrogate's court maybe and find out if anything was over in surrogates under your grandfather's name, and if so, who he left it to,
Well, I know it went to my uncles and my father, and my uncles have had nothing to do with it, but my dad's been taking care of it. He's the executor of it, and everyone that was living there would pay him. And when we found out he stopped paying the taxes and paying stuff, we all
Right.
kind of just stopped because his money was
Right.
going elsewhere. So
Yeah, because when I spoke with you last year, you told me that your father was done and that he
Yeah.
didn't want anything to do with it. So, I don't know how the committee really wants to handle this.
I don't either. Amy, do you have anything you want?
I don't know.
I'd need to look up some information about it to figure out who the title is properly vested in and what the status is.
Right, we don't.
Jill, have you talked to an attorney at all
not
about
yet.
this?
This is kind of my first stop. Like I'm like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I need to do it now because I really don't want to lose my, some of those my grandfathers and.
You
background.
you really have a title issue,
Mm-hmm.
and you need an attorney to look at where you are and where the title is,
Okay.
and how that title can be, if it can be, transferred to you. So that's what I would do. I'd get a real estate attorney
Okay.
and explain to him your situation. You really need to get your title,
The title. Okay.
and then we can talk.
Okay. If I get a hold of my father and I ask him about that, because I'm sure he knows,
Mm-hmm.
do I just call the number? What do I do
That
then?
number on that sheet that you have, that's the notice, correct? Is that
Yeah.
what it says at the top? I believe that has my phone number on it.
Okay.
But I don't, I'm just saying, yes, that
It's
is my
okay.
number.
I mean, I just wanted to take a chance. I just don't want to see it go. And
Well, it may not be your last chance. You gonna offer your services?
No,
No.
no, that's too complicated. No, just kidding. No, but I will make a motion to pull it from the sale.
I will second Attorney Bramer's motion.
Open-ended?
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. Yeah, I don't like doing that, but it went, it missed last year. Do you understand? I mean,
Do you have a
You're
issue with
very
that?
far behind.
I know. I'm not happy about it. Believe me. I'm very angry with my father for doing this because
Yeah. Can I, just before you do that, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Do
Is
you
it-
have the means to pay up the taxes?
I try a budget plan. I do what I could. That's all I can really do. It's just me and my son. I work full time at Bard, and I'm constantly pulling overtime, and it's just me and him to, take care of everything. And this is my first.
Because I have no idea what the outstanding is on this.
Okay.
I guess my concern is that if we give her an extension, but she doesn't have the means to do it.
Well,
But
it's
I
going to
think-
take her
think we need to
more
get-
than a
get
few
there.
weeks to figure out the title problem. If she
Yeah.
can get it into her name, that's not going to be
That's going to take
It-
months,
right.
if not years.
So if we want to give her a chance, then it's not going to get sold this year. I feel okay with that.
I think before we pull it from the sale, we should just check with all the legalities and make sure that that's a proper thing for us to do.
Well, it's our discretion, right, Dennis?
Yes. Lexi wants to check with somebody, so let's table that for a minute. Don't go away.
Okay.
You can sit down until Lex gets back, and we'll find out what she found out.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else that wants to come before the board? Excellent.
What are we waiting for, Dennis?
Lexi wanted to check on something so she can answer our question about.
Is it going to really change any of the particulars? I mean,
I don't know.
it's going to take time for an attorney to clarify the issues. I mean,
Oh yeah.
No,
It-
Lexi's just checking to see where the installment agreement is, as far as how much is outstanding on that and how much is outstanding total. And also hopefully to find out who actually did do the last installment.
I think that's crucial for Jill to decide whether she wants to go forward with it or not. They can get away from you pretty quick. While we're doing that, are there any environmental concerns? Claudia, how we doing with since you're the bag lady, how we doing with the ag legislation.
Well, I do hope that everyone supports it going to a public hearing. We will vote on that next Friday. No, that's this Friday.
This Friday.
Friday.
Okay.
So I think that's the next stage to hear from the public in an official format.
Good. Thank you.
Okay, so there's outstanding taxes all the way back to 2013, so it's 13 through 18, and there is $13,272.95 that is due on the property.
Were you aware of that amount, Jill?
Not until recently. Like I said, my father is very private and didn't really know a lot about dealing with this kind of stuff. My sister reached out to try to help him a couple times, and he wouldn't get it. And I guess I just want to see if there's any chance that I can take over and save the last little bit of our family history and
Okay.
keep it for me and my son. So I'm kind of just jumping in on all this.
Okay. So you're good with your motion, Peter?
Yes.
We got a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried. So you got some time, get a hold of an attorney and see if you can figure out what's going on.
Thank
Make
you.
make sure you stay tuned in with
I will,
Alexis.
yes.
Don't-
I'm going to call my dad, I think, today and see how to track down this title and go from there. So.
Great. Okay.
Well, you know what? How about you don't leave unless you have an appointment? Come to my office. We'll get the deed history so you could get a copy of the deed possibly.
Okay.
And then I would recommend actually going over to Surrogates Court while you're here at the complex. In Surrogates, you can go in and look if there's people's last will and testaments are there. You can actually go in as the public and view those.
Okay.
So you would be able to go in and see if your grandfather's estate is filed there.
Okay.
And you can look at that and see what the outcome of that was. And then maybe get copies of that information so you have all that you could maybe present to an attorney.
Okay.
It would be cheaper for you to do that legwork than go to the attorney and have them do the legwork. It would save you some money. So, you know, you could always, when this is over, go back down to my office with me and we could start with getting you the book and page to get a deed and go from there, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you,
I
Alexis.
know I walked out, so I don't know what exactly was given or granted.
Just took it off the sale.
So until next year, so it'll be back in next year's.
Hopefully by then she'll have it figured out.
Jill, can I also explain to you though the process that every month that this goes unpaid, there is an additional 1% that's added on. There's also in September, actually, they request the list of delinquent taxes. The county attorney's office does.
Okay.
So they get that list, and then they start their process all over again. So it'll go back out for abstract work towards the October-November time frame. If an abstract gets done, there's more fees that get added onto the property.
So that's probably what all...
No, part of that is outstanding taxes, but there is additional fees added into there as well. So
Okay.
I just want you to know that every month that you wait, more money gets added on.
Yeah, I don't want to wait anymore. I just want to be able to have it be mine.
Okay.
So,
Great.
Okay.
thank you.
Is there anything else?
I just have one other. You can seat, or have a seat. I'm sorry. I guess we will have to have, I don't know, further discussion with the treasurer's office on this because this property was part of an installment agreement already. I'm not sure if this can go back into an installment agreement because that installment agreement did not get paid off.
I don't know when was the installment agreement first done.
I'm not sure. So if we were foreclosing last year, it would have been 3 years back from 17, so 14.
Well, we have in the past, if the
I don't
timing
know.
is right, allowed a different person to restart the whole process.
Okay.
So, I mean, there is that possibility. But, I mean, I've got to look at the timing
date
on it because you can only go into one every 3 years on a piece of property, so.
And I thought it was 16 that her father went into the installment agreement, but I may be wrong.
I don't know. So that's, I mean, those are all things that we're going to have to try to figure out.
Well, even that, it'd be 19 pretty quick.
Right.
Matt?
I just have a question about the structure of a repayment or the plan.
An installment agreement?
Installment agreement. How is that figured out? Over what length of time?
It's a 2-year period.
2 years?
That the payments are done out. It's quarterly payments. And the treasurer's office has to calculate that all out because they include in there the interest.
It's a minimum of 25% down, and then quarterly payments for 2 years.
Okay.
But if you pay it off early, you save a little money because it's just like a mortgage, you know, the interest is estimated out to the end of it, so early payoff saves you money.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody else? Anybody from the peanut gallery? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Matt? John? All in favor?
Aye.
Done deal. Thank you very much.